Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday again, which means we're here with another episode of pACT, the podcast where all come together. I'd like to let everybody know that we are 20 days away from February 22nd, and as all of you guys know, that's when we're doing our thing to stop veteran suicide. We need help. Okay, we are only 20 days away, and there's a lot of things out there that we can get done. We can save lives. Okay, we need to make sure that you understand this. There are 37 of our heroes that every day make life-ending decisions. 37 every day, folks. At the end of the year, that's over 15,000 individuals who are going to take their lives. We cannot let this happen. So please make sure that you try to, if you own a business, if you have friends in business, make sure that you get them a hold of us. Okay, ask them to call us at 970-909-0751. One more time, that's 970-909-0751. Or they can send me an email to networking at pay it forward. Let me try this again in English now. They can send me an email at networking at communitypayitforward.us. Once again, that's networking at communitypayitforward.us. As you all know, I like to start every show out with a quote that I saw today that I really, really like. And this one kind of has to do with the weather that the United States is getting right now. I have two guests who are sitting there going, not affecting us at all. You know, they're in California, so they're kind of sitting there going, which, you know, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But as with the butterfly, adversary is necessary to build character in people. As with the butterfly, adversity is necessary. Adversary, yeah, is necessary to build character in people. That's from Joseph B. Worthington. And Worthland, yeah. Wow, I screwed that one up. So take two. And I can't do that. We're live, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. So anyway, that's one of the quotes that I really like right now. Just remember, you know what? You're going to face problems. Okay, all of us face problems. Everything, but use those problems for what they are. It's a learning. It's something to learn from. For the longest time, I always thought I wish I could go back to when I was younger and fix things. But what's the point? One, you can't do that. And second, you know what? If you go back and you fix things, you're not going to learn from them. So live with your past. Just, you know, every saint has a past, every sinner has a future. Just live with that and you're good to go. I'd like to bring on my guests now, and we have a full house today, which is great. We've got two individuals who are joining us from California. We've got Mrs. Teresa Tong and Miss Carmen Garcia from the Stop Shakin' Baby Foundation. We have a great friend of the program, Julie, and Darcia Phillips. And then from the Community Pay It Forward fundraising program, one of our original partners, one of my great friends, just a super great guy. And I think that you're going to like him as much as I do, Mr. Steve Solis. And did you notice I actually spelled your name right in the introduction? I did it. So I did have to go back, just to let you know, I did have to go back and change the email or the SEO on the website, because I still did have your name misspelled. So it was kind of one of those things. So we've got this is going to be a great show. We're going to learn a lot about we're going to learn a lot about different organizations, and this is one of the shows where, guess what, we're wide open. We're in California, we're in Pennsylvania, Johnstown, and Steve and I are Greeley. So, you know, we're kind of the boring ones here. So we're in the big city of Greeley, Colorado. So, but the great thing is that we've got some great people on here who are doing great things. Teresa and Carmen, why don't you guys tell us a little bit about California Phones? And I love this because You guys are making phones accessible and easier to use for people with disabilities. And I think that is fantastic because it's not just people who are hearing impaired. You also help people who have vision problems and other problems. So, can you tell me a little more about what you guys do?
Sure. Thank you, Zach. We're so excited to be here today. Um, well, we are a state program, and we are funded by a surcharge that all Californians are paying on our phone bill. So, as you mentioned, anyone that has difficulty with their hearing, their vision, their mobility, their speech, and their memory, doesn't matter their age, doesn't matter their income, doesn't matter if they have insurance or not, they can qualify to get a specialized telephone and or accessory from us. So, um, telephones, for example, for hearing, it could be someone that, you know, maybe you don't have to be deaf, but maybe you just can't hear different tones. Mobility, maybe you're not wheelchair bound, you're not bedridden, but maybe you just have arthritis in your fingers. So when you're dialing, it's very painful. So there's different levels of need. So we cover all of that, and each person can get a telephone and an accessory. So in the past, we have a lot of phones. I'm going to show you a few. And a lot of our phones do cover more than one category. So I don't know, Carmen, do you want to explain? I can hold it up and then I'll let you explain it.
Oh, most definitely. And hello from sunny California. Just thought I'd rub that in, Zach.
Carmen is in Central California. I'm in Southern California.
Yes. So Teresa is holding up a cordless telephone that is amplified. So that means it's going to ring louder than a standard telephone for those that have a mild, moderate hearing loss. It has a volume control. So the incoming voices are also up to 5 times louder than on a standard telephone. But what's also very important is what we call a tone control feature.
Yep, right here.
So right where Teresa's is holding the finger there, that's the tone control button where you can change the tone or the pitch of the incoming voice so that you can understand the caller. Because a lot of times it's not just about higher volume, but clarity as well. And this telephone has good sized buttons on it, easy to see for someone with vision difficulties. But there's also a button there on the bottom. It says slow. So again, if someone has a hearing loss and the doctor's office is calling to remind them about their appointment, but they're speaking super fast, you don't have to tell them to slow down anymore. All you do is press that button and it automatically slows down that incoming voice. That telephone has been quite popular with that feature. Now on the base here, there's 3 memory buttons that you can program. That's really helpful for someone that has, like Teresa said, maybe arthritis and it's a challenge to dial. All they have to do is press 1 button to dial out. And there's a slow button on the answering machine as well. So if someone leaves you a message, you can slow it down instead of having to play it over and over and over to write down that number they left you or that time. The answering machine is great. And let's see, Teresa. Oh, the flashing light. Right on the base, you'll see that red outline. So a lot of our amplified phones have flashing lights to catch your attention. So even though it rings louder, maybe you still can't hear it, or you're not paying attention, but it's gonna flash on the handset and on the base. So it's a visual ringer for you. Did I forget anything, Teresa?
No, and like she said, a lot of our phones cross over more than one category. So we cover the hearing, we've got the vision, we've got the mobility. It's all in there. We also have the same phone in the black version, which is a Bluetooth phone. So if you don't have a landline anymore, you can pair it with your smartphone. So, but if someone needs a very basic cordless phone, we've got this one here. So exactly the same features that Carmen mentioned. There is what we call a back talk as well. So when you press a number, it's going to repeat that number back to you. So if you can't see the numbers, you have that verbal confirmation. Oh, I dialed the right number. So this one has larger buttons. It's more basic. As you notice with the Panasonic, you've got the on and the off button. This is just one single button for on and off. So we have some of our customers really need a very basic phone. So this one will satisfy that. Um,
That one had a little bit of a different shape. Is there a reason for the shape on that one? Is it more comfortable for people with arthritis? It seems to be a little bit more rounded.
it is. It just depends on the manufacturer. But yes, this one is easy to hold.
Okay.
I mean, we
And
do have people that like this. They like the Panasonic, but they couldn't see the numbers, so it didn't work for them. So that's why we always do encourage the person that's going to apply to get the for the equipment to come and see it and touch it and choose for themselves.
and
Yeah.
Carmen, you go into homes to demonstrate this to people, correct?
Yes. So Teresa will talk about the application process in a bit, but once you've already submitted your application, say you live in Bakersfield. That is not a place where we have an office. So if it's not convenient for you to drive 2 hours to one of our offices, and you know that you're going to need help setting up your phone because either you've got limited mobility, or you've got vision difficulties and you're not going to be able to read the manual, we can send someone out to your home to complete a short assessment, help you figure out which phone is going to be best for you. They're going to set it up for you and show you how to use it so that you're ready to use that telephone so that you can stay connected, and you've got somebody there to train you on that telephone. And that is part of the services that we provide thanks to the surcharge. So everything that we offer is completely free.
That is so great. And Teresa, did you have another one that you wanted to show us?
Yes, this one is for memory. So you can see the little photos on the side.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, whatever works for the person using the equipment. So say, you don't have a picture, you don't have a photo of that person, but you know that they love looking at the stars. You can put a picture of the star and you go, oh, I know that's Jane because that's what she's always looking at stars, right? So this phone also has some amplification for someone that's hard of hearing, but it's more for mild. So that's where the assessment comes in. Really, it's very important for us because if someone has severe hearing loss, this phone is not going to be loud enough. So what we would do in that case is we would provide a loud phone, and we can give them accessories such as this to attach to it. So this is a photo dialer. So there's 4 slots here. You can put a business card, a photo. You can write their name in large print, and then you would just press the button next to it. So if I want to dial 911, I just press that button there.
Real wow.
So I can
That's
attach
neat.
this to the large volume phone. And here is a phone for someone with vision. It also has some volume. Carmen, want to go over this one?
Yeah, this telephone is the one that has the biggest numbers on it. And you probably can't see on screen, but it does have the Braille characters on it.
Yep.
Good size numbers on here. We've got the white buttons with the black numbers as you see here, but we also have the opposite contrast because some people can see the other contrast better. And this one also has the talkback feature. So if someone is legally blind and they're not sure whether they're pressing the 5 or the 8, it's going to announce the number you press so that you're not dialing the wrong number.
I
Another thing
love
too is,
Oh, I'm sorry. I love the way that the numbers are on the full face of that. I think it's really neat because that's so helpful to, even myself, there's times that my fat fingers, it's like I'm trying to type with a kielbasa sausage and I can't hit the numbers right. So, that's why these cell phones are so crazy for me because I watch my kids just sit there and type without even looking at it. And I'm like, so I do like that. But going ahead, Lisa, I'm sorry.
oh, I was going to say that with this particular phone, you can also record the memory. So you could do it in a different language, the numbers or the memory as well. So that's another
Oh, wow.
part of this phone.
And talking about cell phones, Zach, Teresa mentioned that we have a telephone where it looks like a standard landline cordless phone, but that one is Bluetooth compatible. So if you wanted to connect your cell phone to that phone, when someone dials your cell phone number, you can answer the call on that other handset for the extra volume. And you can also make your outgoing calls on that handset which is going to
Oh,
be much bigger for someone with fingers like yours.
yeah.
Um,
Well, let
and,
me ask you
and
this:
our
is no, go on ahead.
I
Go on ahead,
apologize.
please.
And one last comment: we our program has also been offering smartphone classes. Now that we're talking about cell phones, so we do offer classes for iPhone users and Android users. Right now, the classes are virtual, but as soon as things settle down, we're looking forward to offering those classes in person again.
Yes.
Well, that's great. Do your phones have, is there a way to find them? Maybe somebody, and I'm speaking for my dad. My dad is getting up there in age and he loses his phone. Well, let's be honest. My dad will lose his phone if it's in his hands. So, but I love my dad. I really do. But I had to get that out there. But we all misplace our phones sometimes. I know that if you're seeing like sight deficient, it might be hard. Is there something that helps you find the handset?
This one, yes, it does have the find button here. Where is it? The location intercom.
Oh, okay. Okay. Great.
So when you press that, so it can be used as an intercom as well. So if someone's in the other room and you say, I forgot to bring the handset back. Can you bring it back out? You could also use it that way.
Yeah, that locator button is a lifesaver.
Yeah.
My mom has the same problem.
Yeah,
Um,
like I said, that would definitely be interesting. Teresa, you said that you have access, or you have a website, or you have something that you could give people because you guys are only able to work in California.
Yes.
Um, is there a website that people can look up and find out where their state, where they offer something similar?
Yes, I do have that website, and I'm gonna get that and put that in the chat.
Thank you so
Is that
very much.
is that something that so is everyone able to see the chat?
Yes, I believe everybody's able to see the chat, and everybody on the outside is also able to see it.
Okay.
So,
Do we have time to quickly go over the application?
yeah, very much. Yeah. Go
Oh,
on ahead.
okay. So this is what it looks like, and the applicant will fill out this portion here, and they sign the bottom because if they don't sign it, we cannot provide them any equipment. Then they bring it to the certifying agent who fills out this section here. Oh, it's hard to see, isn't it? But they fill it out and they let us know, like, is it hearing, vision, mobility, speech, memory? If it's hearing, is it mild, moderate, severe? If it's mobility, is it upper body, lower body? Is it both? That way we can make it a better assessment. Do they need, a headset? So we can really help them figure out what they need and how we can help them. Um, then they can either mail this back to us, fax it to us. They can bring it to us in person. And if they come to see us in person, again, we can train them. Um, if they decide to mail or fax in the form, what we're going to do is we're going to have someone from our contact center call them, and we can either set up some of the functions on the phone, like maybe they don't want the ringer on because they live with 5 other people, right? And they just want the light flasher, or maybe they want the ringer on loud because they can't hear it. So we can set those things up and then ship it to them, or one of our staff can drop it off into the home. Or again, like Carmen mentioned, we can send someone to the home to go and help train them and set it up. So we have a lot of different options, whichever is beneficial to our customers.
Well, that's fantastic. As a guy, after my motorcycle accident, I lost the hearing in my right ear. So I do know what it's like to sometimes, if I'll take and set my phone on the right side or put it in, and I'm terrible about this, my fiance will follow behind me all the time and she'll be like, "Your phone is ringing." And I'm like, "How?" And I'll realize it's in my right pocket, so of course I don't hear it at all. And it's like, oops, but so I know what that's like. Your guys' mission statement is keeping people connected via our free specialized equipment and services. How can they get a hold of you guys?
So we have a couple of ways. Our number is 1-800-806-1191. 1-800-806-1191, or our website, which is californiaphones.org. And we are statewide, so but if someone comes to visit us, we do encourage them to contact us first because, with COVID, with the fires, some of our centers have closed. Um, they may have an application that's 10 years old and some of our offices have moved. So if they drive for an hour and they find out we're not there, they're going to be a little bit upset. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, and some of us are getting cranky as we're getting older. So,
Not you, Zach.
yeah. Oh, I was actually talking about Steve, but I mean, so, well, I want to thank you guys very much. And Steve, Darcia, Julie, did you guys have any questions?
I will go ahead and start because I actually don't have as much to say. But I wanted to bring awareness to shaken baby syndrome.
Okay.
I actually have one of my own survivors. And until I started fostering him, I knew nothing. All I knew was that it could kill him and that it was generally due to frustration. But I had absolutely no idea what happens when they do survive. And I think it's very important for everybody else to know. So I asked Darcia to join us. She has a lot more knowledge about it and runs an organization that has actually helped my little one out a lot.
Well, we met you, Julie, when right before you got custody, and it was, you were telling us the story, and I told you right as we met, I told you that we wanted to do everything that we could to help you guys out, and we've been following. We've been lucky to be able to follow his growth, his ups, his downs, and we know right around Christmas time we were so afraid that he was going to have to spend time in Christmas in the hospital, and thank goodness he got out on Christmas Day,
Yep.
so he got to go home, which was, I just got chills when I said that because it was kind of one of those things. I was like going, God, I wish you didn't have to spend in, but yeah, we've been, you've been so kind and allowed us to follow with him, and I've always said he's one of our heroes. We watch the little guy fight,
Yep.
and it's so encouraging seeing little ones fight like that. And I think that we should watch for kids sometimes, watch what they do, because we give up on them quicker than they're ready to give up on themselves.
Yep.
So, Darcia, can you tell us some of the problems that these children will endure? In general, I know it's hard to say, but can you list some of the difficulties?
When a child survives being shaken, there's a lifelong history that nobody's going to want to even think about. Many of these children start off with having seizures. Most of the time, they cannot control them. Doesn't matter how much meds, the whole bit. If they can control them, then they end up having bouts of periods of time where that's great. And then things happen. They gain weight, they grow, they hit puberty, and that seizures come back. So that's one of the very big things that's a problem for these survivors. Another big problem is feeding issues. Many of the children who survive can't swallow, they gag, they throw up, they have to have a feeding tube placed to get nutrition. Wow. This is also a lifelong thing. Some kids can have a tube in the hospital when they're recovering and then not have to have it for a long time. But then as they get older again, their body starts having more problems. They have to have a tube placed again. Then we have of course, kids that will have mobility issues and that speech issues. There's a smaller percentage of children that have hearing issues than there are children that have vision issues, which many of them have what's called cortical visual impairment, which is blindness, where they can't see like you and I can see. They see basically color. Some can see shadow. Some could see a little bit more than shadow. They could see a little bit more detail, but they spend their life blind. Another problem that a lot of survivors has is cerebral palsy. And this can be one-sided. It could be all their limbs are affected. It could be just, their arms, just their legs. It all depends. And again, as they grow and get older, their cerebral palsy gets worse. So there's so many issues that go on. And it's all because somebody got frustrated and shook the child, which is a very deliberate act. And there's no reason to get that frustrated to cause these problems that are never going to go away.
Yeah, and these are issues that potentially will never go away.
Right. 1 in 4 children that are shaken die immediately after injury. It is also very common to have a child go in with injuries and they find out with the CAT scans and the skeletal x-rays that they were injured previously on another occasion, but weren't given the opportunity to have treatment. So it's not just a one-time thing. Most of the time it's 2 or 3 times before treatment is sought.
And even if they live to an adulthood, there's a chance that they won't make it, correct? To a full extended life?
Correct. Most survivors are very profound in disabilities. I'd say about a little bit more than half of them are profoundly disabled. And those children, if they live into adulthood, they don't make it past 25. We see it very common that children will not live to be even 18. In my experience, I had a twin sister that my family adopted, set of 2 girls, and one survived until 7 years old, and then she passed away. Her twin is now 11 years old. So it all depends on the varying stages of the disability that comes from the abuse. There's no, just a couple of years ago, one of the survivors, we were making our shirts for one of our campaigns and had it all set up and we were going to launch it. And I got a message, can we change the placement of her name because she passed away? On the front of our shirts, which Julie and I are both wearing, which I think is awesome, we have our survivors. And on the back, we have our angels. The back is angels. She's like, is there any way we can put her name on the back? So I stopped everything, and it took a couple more days, and I got her name put on the back because she was an angel at that point. She had gained her wings. She was 3 years old.
This is one of the points that I'm gonna. I got to bite my tongue on this one because me being who I am, this one is really hard to swallow. But you have down here on one of the points that most don't receive any justice.
Right.
There's as an example, how many of these children go living in that situation because nobody does anything about it?
Well, when we talk about justice and that, what it is many of the children, after they are abused, and that the person that was the one to do it doesn't get brought up on charges. And if they do face charges, they don't get arrested or they don't serve any jail time, or the time they do get is nothing. We can have kids that are literally left unable to do anything for themselves, and the person that did this to them may spend a year, 18 months in jail, if that, and walk out with no repercussions. They go on to live their life like anybody else, which is very frustrating for the whole community because the justice isn't there.
Right, and you also say that the survivors suffer a life struggle and hardships along with their families. Um, as I mentioned, I've been lucky enough to know Julie, and it's heartbreaking at times because you can see when she contacts us, she's just like, he's sick, and talking to her fiance, I know how tired she gets at times, and we know that there's difficulty with family members and the sister and other stuff. And I just want to say, anybody out there who's taking care of these children, thank you. And please, I would have to say this, and I've got to say it. Look, don't don't sit around. Okay, if you know that this is happening, make sure that you're telling somebody. So, um, it, these these children are uh, just that, they're children.
Right.
They can't defend themselves. We have to defend them sometimes. And this is coming from a guy who, I've always said, I love my boys, yours not so much, but damn it, these are kids. These are kids. And every kid deserves a chance to grow up and be happy. And
Right.
if we treat them like trash, they're going to grow up feeling like trash. And so, Julie, you, my dear, are amazing, and I will always support you. And as soon as we're able to get started on the and I'm just going to say it right here, we got to discuss it a little bit earlier, but congratulations on the miracle baby. She's found herself pregnant, which is great news. So you recently had a surgery and you're looking great.
Thank
Uh,
you.
and I mean, I love seeing that things are going in a positive direction for you, and I love seeing how big he's gotten. We we were able to, my God, we were able to give him the cutest little Santa outfit when he came out of the hospital, and all the nurses allowed him to put it on him, and he walked out. It had a little Santa Claus beard kind of thing on him, and it was just the cutest thing. So it was wonderful that he got that.
As soon as we are done with the foster to adopt process, you are welcome to post that picture.
That's great. I cannot wait to do that. So, but yeah, we're not going to be mentioning names or anything right now because there's still legality about it. And besides that, you know what, the children deserve that privacy. So, but there's our hero. And, we keep up with him every day. We get things going, and love seeing how happy he is. And he does have issues, and folks, we can't allow people to beat and hurt these children. I've got concussion syndromes from a motorcycle. Concussions are no fun. And when you're shaking a baby, just think about that. You're putting the force of them being in a car accident just by shaking the child. You're putting pressure on bones that are not formed yet. You're putting pressure on the skull. You're putting pressure all over this child. And this child's not formed yet. Just remember that. Remember that, please. So, Teresa, Carmen, Steve, you guys have any questions for anybody?
This is Carmen. I just want to applaud Julie for caring for this precious baby. It takes a special person with special love to do this. So I applaud you for it. He is very, very fortunate to have you. Thank you for caring for him.
Thank you. I'd do it over again if I had to.
I second that. Carmen said it so well.
So, and we just wanted to bring this up. The mission statement for Stop and Shaken Baby Syndrome was incorporated in Massachusetts in May 12th, 2009, as a charitable corporation to increase awareness and prevention of shaken baby syndrome, and to provide support for the surviving victims and their families or adopted families. Um, and I added that last part, so sorry about that. Um,
I would also like to throw in that we need to make sure that new mommies know it's okay to walk away for a minute.
yeah, that's fantastic. That's great advice.
It never hurts to put a child in a crib and just walk away. Even if it's for a couple of minutes, just walk away. Crying will not hurt them. They will be fine. After 2-3 minutes, walk back in, check on the baby. The baby is still crying, but you don't feel you can take care of the baby. Walk back out, sit down at the table, have yourself a drink of coffee or soda. If you can't go back in after 2-3 minutes and the baby's still crying, you pick up your phone. You dial anybody that you can think of. Even call your doctor's office or an emergency number, say, listen, my baby is crying. I don't know what to do. I don't know what's wrong. Can somebody help me? And nobody's going to say no. Somebody will be there to help you with that baby.
There are people who understand, a lot of people do. A lot of people have had children before, and they understand that, you don't have all the answers, regardless if it's your first or it's your fifth, whatever. So, there's a lot of people out there who can help you. Just make sure that's such a great point. It truly is, put them down, walk away. And dads, it's the same thing. Dads, they're not a damn football. Okay. You can't punt them around. Can't do that. I mean, uh, it's just, it's your child. Treat it like a child. Treat it like it's the most precious thing in your life, because it is the most precious thing in your life. So, Darcia and Julie, I want to thank you two very much for being here. Like I said, this is something that I've been looking forward to, being able to talk to Julie, and we're not talking about hospital visits and introducing us to Darcia. That's a great thing. And Darcia, I would love to talk to you sometime and find out if we can be a way to help you guys raise money to make sure that we can take care of people.
Her organization does some amazing things.
Well, and
we're trying to do as much as we can to help the children, to help the families. We've done a lot so far. We keep trying to do more. We're thinking of more ways to reach out to help people and the whole bit. We're always open for suggestions and the whole bit. So I'm just glad that we've made a difference for Julie and her son.
Yeah. So, like I said, go on ahead, Teresa.
I have a question. So I know that you're helping people. Do you do it virtually as well? Like, can people call in, and is there support online?
We actually have 2 support groups that we run through Facebook. That's actually how Julie found us. And we have those support groups for the parents, which, is on Facebook. So they post questions and the whole bit, videos, whatever they want. And we'll sit there and we'll talk to them. Other parents that are in the same position can talk to them the whole bit as well. And then for the organization prospects, in that we have different fundraisers we do for different programs and the whole bit to get what they might need. And that, so while we don't per se have a community in one state or area, we're all virtual. We will help wherever we can.
Everybody on that Facebook page is extremely helpful and extremely willing to give advice or just talk to you if you need to talk. It's amazing.
Wow.
We've done phone calls. We've done anything. Doesn't matter. We are willing to talk to people no matter what.
Real quick, one last question for you. Would you say that it would be a good idea for parents to maybe get some of your literature and maybe read it as they're expecting a baby, maybe, and especially their first baby? It would give them a little bit of a clue, kind of tell them what's going, give them an eye-opening experience even, because this is something that, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to. We know this.
Exactly.
Everybody knows this.
We actually have a program in the works, and that's called the Sweet Pea Project, which we're working on, actually making a little booklet for, and that to get into hospitals for new parents. And in the package, they would get like a little hat for the baby, and that our brochure, a story from one of our children that have survived or have passed because of the abuse, along with a picture, and a little booklet about what to do with baby crying. So we're working on that and the whole bit.
Well, can you guys do me a favor and please in the chat put your information, put where we can get one of your hoodies, because I think I want to get one of your guys' hoodies. And but make sure that you give us the information so we can continue to keep up with you. And please, Darcia, let's keep in contact so we can work together with you guys. We would love to help you guys in any way that you can. As I've mentioned before, Steve is one of my longtime partners and friends, and he loves being part of this group because, first off, it keeps him busy at work, and he gets to help great people like you. And this is one of the greatest things about what we're doing right now is we get to tell these stories. And these are stories that need to be told because these are things that people don't hear about. And we want you to make sure that you heard it. That way now you know where you can go. So please make sure that you guys leave us with all the information. We will pass it on.
Absolutely.
Darcia, Julie, thank you so much. Julie, I'm so happy for you, uh, and I'm proud of you. So,
Thank you.
but Steve, my friend, you got to stop writing now. It's time for you to talk. I I know that writing, I know talking for you is sometimes difficult, but
Good to see you too.
yeah, it's actually great to see you, my friend. How have you
They
been?
were talking about hard of hearing and all that stuff, and one of the realities of getting a little bit older. This is a significant year for me because I'll be turning 70 in August. So yeah, all that stuff. And by the way, family was has been in this country over 450 years, and so from Spain, and so we lost anything to do with culture and language a long time ago. So I have to study just like everyone else. But the other thing I do is that I'm actually learning sign language, not because I anticipate to lose my hearing altogether, but what if I do? I'm
Yeah.
going to be prepared for that. So I've been studying sign language for 2 years. And then, yes, very good. That I also will do balloon practice, and I'll get into that in just a minute here. But I do that for another hour to 3 hours every night. So that's what I do. But anyway, my primary position is I'm a sales manager for a very small roofing contractor here in the Denver area. We operate what we call here in the area of the Front Range, which goes all the way north and south in the entire state, actually, is the Front Range. And so we operate in that direction. I've been in the business over 38 years, actually longer than that. I started roofing with my father in 1967, if that'll give you an idea of what my age is, right? So, yeah, I loved it. And I think the primary thing about doing roofing, it was one of three primary needs that people have: food, shelter, and clothing. You all are in your part in helping people and all of that. And I'm not just in it to make the money. I love to make the money for sure, but the primary thing is to help people have their situation remedied by a qualified contractor. And roofing, by the way, in the state of Colorado is the most complained about industry for the BBB. So when you do good work, you do stand out. It's not that hard to do that when you do things right. I've served on the education committee for the Colorado Roofing Association, so I'm held to a higher standard as far as we operate in that regard. So I love it. I just do sales now. Don't oversee any roofers. Don't want to do that. Don't want to be an owner. I just love where I'm at, and I can smile all the time and help people through the process, especially when the insurance companies are involved. So that's what we do: take care of people and do it the right way, and enjoy what we do. I am a little disappointed in one thing. I haven't roofed for over 30 years myself, but at the end of the day, you could look back and see what you did and accomplished and be happy in that. Today, I don't do that. I have to hand it over to other younger people to be able to handle the business and take care of it. But we take pride in what we do, and we have some really excellent people that work for us. And so we're very blessed as far as that goes. So the roofing, but I've been setting up home shows for over 25 years for the companies that I've worked for. I just recently did the one up there, Zach, at the ranch, the Northern Colorado home show. I did that one. I did it for our company, and then for a lady that's in our referral group, who's a realtor, had a booth in the same show. And so I split time twisting balloons in her booth as well. So trying to get that message out. It's really funny and how the whole thing started. I was at the Garden and Home Show at the Convention Center in downtown Denver, probably 20 years ago. ran into a lady that was twisting balloons for a very well-known window and siding company here in the area. And she had like a line of children, like 20 kids waiting for her. And I was so intrigued with what she was doing. I have an art and craft background. And so I said, lady, I got to learn how to do this. And she says, well, I give lessons, but it's usually got to be in groups of 15 or 20. Where am I going to find 15 or 20 people that want to do this, right? So I kept the idea in my back pocket. And then the church that I go to in Wheat Ridge was going to send an adult group to Uruguay to replace the roof. And so they wanted somebody to be able to do origami. They were going to make hats for the children in the evening and or balloon animals. There was a high school girl that was not going, that was just getting started, and they said she could teach us. And she knew how to do two things, a dog and a sword. I said, I'm not going all the way to Uruguay only knowing two things. That's silly. And so I called my friend up because I would see this lady once or twice a year at the home shows. And she sent me down to where she gets her supplies. I picked up a book, a video, a bag of balloons, and a pump and just started practicing. So I'm mostly self-taught. And I have friends from all over the world that are famous people in that line that people know from all over the world. And they give videos regularly, and that's what I study and practice with. But I've been doing, have a small sample for you all. Look at that. So I did this a couple of days ago, so he's kind of losing a little bit of his nose and everything here, but this is the kind of the idea of what I do when I'm at the restaurant. I basically have 2 to 3 minutes per child, and just what do you want? And maybe give them a couple of choices. You tell me what they want, and I twist it, and people give me tips. Sometimes I'm at events where I get paid. So I've done Google, Comcast, Hewlett Packard, Elks Club, Moose Lodge, Taste of Fort Collins, Cornrows Festival. You name it, I've probably been there.
Community Pay It Forward.
Community Pay It Forward, I've done several events for. I've done realities for children here in Colorado. The Family Center La Familia up in Fort Collins, Colorado is where I'm scheduled to do another event here pretty soon. So I do for nonprofits as much as I can to donate. And of course, that's part of the proceeds. I help with Community Pay It Forward and other groups. And so I help them out. But I'm out there and I do birthday parties, company parties, school events, church events, all that stuff. And I try not to be basic because there's lots of twisters out there that just do basic stuff. I want my stuff to be, some of the best. And so I really work hard at providing that for people and have fun and make a few dollars doing it as well. So that's it. Roofing is great, but then I can make the switch, and turn it on and be the person I really am, which is having a lot of fun and entertainment. And oh, by the way, balloons aren't just for children. I did a birthday party for the 50 and over crowd here a few months ago, and everybody turns into a kid, I assure you. It's just what's going to reach you. Maybe it's a flower, maybe it's a monkey on a tree, maybe it's I should have done it ahead of time, Zach. You've seen my unicorn.
Oh, yes, yes.
And the unicorn hat has a gold horn that as far as my hand will reach out, the horn goes out that far. It sits up here on your head, and it's got clear eyes, and I put LED lights in the eyes of multi-colors. It's really quite a balloon. So
he's quite frankly, he's just amazing with it. He also does, he can take a Tyrannosaurus Rex or a dragon and make it into a hat, and the kids can just go around in this thing's bobbing on the head, just I watched him make a giraffe for a kid that was taller than the child, and it was the neatest thing. So, Steve, please tell that story about when you got to when you got down there, the elderly ladies. I think that this is one of the best stories. It's a heartwarming story.
Well, that was my first experience of actually performing publicly because I prepared to go down there. In 2 weeks, by the way, I learned how to do 17 characters. So I really put my heart into it. And so I wasn't sure it was something I was actually going to do. I wanted to do it for this trip. anyway, I get down there and they sent me off to do the balloons for the children. Some churches there might only be 5 children, others there might be 50 kids. But every church, you'd walk in there and there's almost no senior men, no silver-haired men at all. There's a lot of women, senior women, and then the workers for the children are of various ages. Well, I'd be sitting there twisting balloons for the children, and there's always this group of the older ladies sitting over there to the side, and they're watching me intently to see what I was making. And you can hear them in Spanish trying to guess what it was, and as the children were doing too, the que es, señor? And I would say, you have to guess in Spanish. And so they'd be there doing it. And the ladies were watching. So I'm getting done with the children. And then I'd get up and I'd go sit in the middle of the children, the senior ladies. And I'd say, what do you want? Que quiere? And oh, no, 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 señor. I would insist, yes, yes. What do you want? Que quiere? And so they would break down and finally say, well, they want a flower or a teddy bear or something like that. And what was cool is that I would have that character and I would hand it to them. I'd put it right in front of them, and they would take it and they would go like this, which that was precious, right, to them. The exchange rate in 2003 when this occurred was 28-1. So they prepared for us. It took them 9 months, and all they could afford was finger food. That's very humbling. Means a lot.
Yeah.
So anyway, I would give it to them. They would take it. It was precious. We were all just having a good time together, and it really meant a lot. So when I came back home, I knew what I had to do. It was not just present to the children. I'm presenting anybody that I could. I've lost both my parents in the last 5 years, and I'd go to the senior centers and wherever they would allow me. And a lot of times I'm only twisting for the people that help the seniors and children and all that stuff, which is fine. And they would share it with the children and all that stuff. So it's been a big deal for me. So it's not just a money-making thing. It is a service to make people smile and laugh, regardless of what age it is. And I have a ton of fun doing it. I keep practicing so I could be better, because even those 12-year-olds will walk into the restaurant and say, can you make a lobster? So you better be picking up your game here, if you want to satisfy some of these people. And I get challenged with stuff all the time. And now they'll come in with some character that, it's one of those gaming characters or cartoon characters. Now, my baby is 30 years old. I've been out of the game a long time. I have no idea what that stuff is. You can bring me a picture. I might be able to mimic it, but for the most part, it's pretty standard stuff, but it's good stuff, and I think everybody enjoys it. So I have a ton of fun. So thank you for the opportunity.
See, I'm going to disagree with you. Some of the stuff that you do is nowhere near standard. You are so talented when it comes to that. And Steve, one of the other things about that I really, really respect and love about you is you're one of those guys that, you're not going to climb up on a roof and you're not going to tell anybody something that they don't need. You're you yourself and your company, you're not out there just to make money. You're out there to make sure that you make friends and repeat customers. Well, you may only need to replace your roof once, that roof once. Who knows, you might get a new home and they'll call you again because you treated them right. And you only do roofs in Colorado, which I also think is great, because here in Colorado, we have this thing that, the circus tents are coming because there was a storm, which means that every company throughout the world is going to show up knocking on doors.
Right.
What's the first thing they tell you? You got hail damage from the ground.
Right.
I got a 6-story house. How can you tell? I don't, but how can they tell that? But they're going to tell you right away that you got damage. Steve has walked up on my parents' house and told them exactly what was wrong. And there was somebody who told my parents that, something was damaged. Steve got up there and said, you don't have to worry about it. And it was a great thing. So, Steve, you got events coming up, please. And this is our whacked segment. Okay. I got to do it. Here it goes. Whacked segment. Okay. And which is we all come together. And please tell us about the next event that you have. Where can people come and find you?
Boy, uh, I don't know that this one here that I mentioned is actually going to be a public thing or not, so I may not be able to post that. I generally have been at the Golden Corral restaurant on Saturday and Sunday evenings. That's a little bit on hold right now, but I should be back there here fairly soon and doing Saturday and Sunday evenings, from 4 to 8. But I do a number of other things that they're coming up. That's just not for sure. The primary one is the Garden and Home Show in Denver, which I don't have the dates on that right now. It's usually the end of February, like the 22nd through the 29th or something like that. But I haven't received the official package yet, so I don't know. But if people just keep in mind the Garden and Home Show, they can see all the things that are going on with landscaping and building and whatever you need for your house and buildings and structure and HOA representatives and all that stuff. And so I'm there to twist balloons to draw a crowd and get my name out as well, not only the company, but the balloons as well. So I have a ton of fun with that. That's probably the biggest one that's coming up.
Thank you very much, my friend. Again, thank you for answering the call. Thank you for coming in. Wonderful job as always. I look forward to working with you a little bit this year. Hopefully we can get out and maybe do another bake sale again. That was kind of fun. So, Darcy, do you guys have any events that we can help you to promote?
Currently, we don't have any events going on. What we will be having is for the month of April, I showcase stories of children who were shaken on our Facebook page. And then after the month is over, I put them all on our website. Anybody who goes to our website will see a tab that says Meet the Children. And there are currently, I believe, 13 pages with stories of children who have been shaken. And it shows their outcomes. Some have passed away. Some are survivors. But starting April 1st, we'll have more stories that will go up on our Facebook page. And typically I do one a day. If I get more than 30 stories, I will, of course, do 2, 3 a day, depending on what I get. But that will be for Child Abuse Awareness Month in April.
And that is when Child Abuse Month is?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's not a month for shaken baby syndrome. And that's so.
Oh, you muted yourself.
There's not a month for shaken baby syndrome to bring awareness to it. So it all just goes in under child abuse prevention, which is April.
Well, maybe we can work on something just because this is a very serious problem. Again, Darcy, I appreciate you joining us from Philadelphia. We know it's getting a little late there. I appreciate you coming in very much and letting us hear your story and what you guys are working on. Please keep up the good luck and let's keep in contact. That way, maybe we can share some of these wonderful stories. But thank you. And then Julie, you just keep going. You keep doing what you do and make sure that you keep us, as you always do, keep us updated. So, but thank you so much. I do appreciate it. So,
of course.
Teresa and Carmen, you guys have anything coming up?
Well, we do have a monthly lunch and learn, and that's every third Thursday at 12 o'clock. And we're partnering with other nonprofits or other agencies to also share their information. So we welcome other agencies to come and network as well and learn about us and other agencies. But yeah,
these lunch and learn virtual presentations are posted in our website. So if you want the link, it's via Zoom. If you want the link, you can visit our website and get the link there.
That sounds great. I want to thank you guys all again. Teresa, Carmen, all the way from California. You guys are wonderful. It's still early for you guys, so you guys still get to go and eat dinner. You guys are almost still eating lunch. So, and then of course Teresa rubbing it in with the flour in
Oh,
her
funny.
hair. How warm it is there. And we're all freezing.
Hey, Zach,
Yes.
are we able to save the chat? I don't see how you do that.
You know what? I moved everything to the comments on the outer thing. So when you share this, all of that's going to appear. So it's going to appear on the Facebook page and the
Oh,
YouTube
okay.
channel.
Okay.
So, but it'll all be there because I did move it all out. This is our first time with this new platform. So unfortunately, Emily couldn't get in. But you know what? I want to thank Emily anyway because she did most of the hard work on this. Everybody knows my producer. She works her butt off, and I mean she's part of everything. Teresa and I are great friends from Happy Neighborhood Project, and we're in quite a few networking groups together, and when we talked, we were like, we've got to get together and talk about this. So if you know anybody in Colorado with any difficulties, hearing, visual, or otherwise, please get a hold of Teresa or Carmen and learn more about these phones. Help people out. Doesn't take a lot, folks. Once like I always say, you know what? Just a little saying hi to somebody can make somebody's day. We need to add two more things to the pACT thing before we get going, and we're a little over time here, but I won't get fired, I don't think. So maybe I don't know. That other me might come out, but we're proud to announce that on Valentine's Day, the rebuild of communitypayitforward.us is coming out. People know that my website, hey, you know what, it was built by a biker, let's put it that way. Okay, it was a good website being built by a biker, but this new website is going to have a search engine, it's going to have all kinds of things, and it's going to be so much easier to use. It's coming to you from Z World Webs. Mr. Z, one of our great friends, is working on it, and I'll tell you this, it's hard for me to tell people my website just because now they got to go and look at that. So I'm like going, can we move the date up like to today? But we're going to do this right. We're going to give Mr. Z his time, and he's doing a wonderful job on it. We keep seeing new things that are being added, and I'm like going, so I'm really excited about that. The other thing is, folks, 20 days. Okay, 20 days left. 20 days, and in this 20 days, we're going to try to save veterans' lives. Once again, 37 a day, okay? 37. And these are just our veterans. Imagine what the total numbers of suicide are, okay? Our heroes are making life-ending decisions 37 times a day. We want this to end. We're going to start by helping to fund our coalition of groups. And all we need you to do is for one day, join the Community Pay It Forward fundraising program and turn a portion. I don't care if it's 50 cents per sale. That's 50 cents per sale going to help to save lives. Okay? With Steve, if you book anything from him on that day and he gets the job, that will come and it will go to Save 22. Okay? Saving lives. Hire Steve for your birthday party. A portion of that will go to save heroes' lives. This is not, we're not trying to raise money for a birthday. We're not trying to raise money for anything, but saving lives. And so this is very important. If you have any questions, please call me 970-909-0751. 970-909-0751. Ladies, sir, thank you. Thank you so much. Please come back and join us sometime. You guys all have the link. Come on whenever you would like to come and update us on anything. Please make sure that we keep updated on all the new advances. And then Teresa, when we get that downloaded, you guys can come in and do the show that we were unable to do today. Yeah?
Yep.
Sounds great. Once again, Darcia, please keep up the great work. It was a privilege to get to meet you today. And I'll just say it. Thank you for helping Julie. She's a special person to me. So thank
She
you.
is. She is very special woman. It's
Yeah.
not an easy feat to take on a baby that has such a history.
Yep.
She's
Yep.
done an amazing job.
Yep. And we'll keep him. We always got him in our heart, and we'll make all the updates that we can. So he's a little trooper. You saw him there. He's looking so good. He truly is. It's just amazing. I was so proud to see him. Steve, brother, thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you. Please make sure that you contact Steve for any roofing or balloon job. And when you do that, a portion will go to the mission cause of your choice. My name is Zach. Please remember, nobody has to go it alone. There's nobody that needs to go cold, and especially right now when you've got clothing in your closet that don't fit you. Make sure that you keep a hoodie or a long shirt or something in your car. If you see somebody battling the cold, give it to them. It's not doing you any good. So just give it to them. Make sure that you do that. If you can go and buy little stocking caps or toques or something like that, they're inexpensive, but it means so much. Nobody has to go hungry when there's food not being eaten. You know what? If you know where somebody's homeless, you've got some extra leftovers that you know your family's not going to eat, put it in a to-go container. Go drop it off. Make somebody's day. Money isn't everything, folks. Caring is everything. So make sure that you follow us at communitypayitforward.us, especially after Valentine's Day. That's when we're going to show the love. Um, and do yourselves all a favor. Make sure that you go and you follow all the links that are attached to this show, and especially Steve's Facebook page. Go to Steve Solis on his Facebook page, and you can watch him practicing his art. And it's amazing. And I'm going to tell you something, kids, if you get a chance to learn under Steve, you can amaze your parents. So let's put it that way. You can make your parents blubbering idiots. I know. I watch him and I'm just like, I forget what I'm doing sometimes. So, but anyway, I'd like to thank everybody one more time and thank you for joining us on pACT this week. Next week, we're going to have another great show, including two more nonprofits. We're bringing Zita back to talk about all the work that she's doing, including building hospitals in Africa. We're also, I know we're bringing in one more person. I can't remember who it is. I'm going to claim motorcycle accident brain injury, but I really wasn't that smart before the motorcycle accident, so I really can't say that. So, and we're also going to have one of our wonderful we're also going to have another one of our great fundraising family members coming and telling their stories. So please remember, be good to each other, love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Thank you very much. Have a great day.